Okay, so when you think about really transformative figures in recent spiritual history figures who also kicked up a lot of dust, well, Osho Rajneesh has to be right up there.
Absolutely, a truly polarizing name.
Yeah, and you might know him as Osho or maybe Bhagwan Shree Rajneesh.
Hmm.
He actually started life as Chandra Mohan Jain, born back in India, 1931, lived until 1990. Quite a span.
Hmm. A huge impact in that time.
Definitely left his mark.
Yeah.
So what was it about his initial philosophy? What made it so, well, magnetic? Especially considering how widely he seemed to draw his ideas from.
Well, that's one of the really key things, isn't it? How Osho set himself up. He wasn't just, sampling from Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, Sufism.
Right, like a buffet.
Sort of, but he actively refused to be pinned down by any single tradition. His core message, it wasn't about rigid beliefs or doctrines.
Yeah.
It was this really strong emphasis on the individual's own experience, pushing people to find their truth, through meditation, awareness, that kind of thing.
Direct experience, not
Yeah.
just belief.
Exactly. And he told people to live fully, embrace love, celebration, humor. And he was very, very critical of organized religion, saw it as repressive.
So less about rules, more about liberation.
Precisely. A call to free yourself from external authority, basically.
That focus on individual experience? Yeah, that sounds incredibly freeing. How did he, translate that into actual practices for people?
Yeah.
He came up with some really interesting concepts, didn't he?
Oh, definitely. One of the big ones was dynamic meditation. And this was pretty radical, very different from just sitting quietly.
How so?
It was designed to kind of short circuit the thinking mind,
Yeah.
get straight to a more visceral level. It involved really intense, almost chaotic breathing, then emotional release, like really letting it out, followed by movement, dancing even, and then silence.
Wow. So body first, then mind.
Kind of a way to clear out the mental clutter for a deeper inner experience. And then there's his ideal of Zorba the Buddha.
Right, I've heard that phrase. Zorba the Greek meets Buddha.
Exactly. It sounds like a contradiction, but for Osho, it was about creating a new kind of human, someone who could embrace the earthly, sensual joys of life, the Zorba part, and the deep, meditative consciousness of a Buddha.
So not choosing between worldliness and spirituality, but integrating them.
Yes, the whole package. A vision for holistic living.
Hmm.
It definitely resonated with people looking for that, though. It certainly ruffled feathers in more traditional spiritual circles.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Complete human, embracing everything. But then this whole philosophy, this movement, things took a really dramatic turn when he moved to the U.S. in the 80s, right? Establishing that big commune.
Ah, yes. Oregon. That's where things got incredibly complicated and, frankly, quite dark. Rajneeshpuram.
Right. What happened there? It wasn't just philosophy anymore.
No, not at all. That period, it became mired in really serious legal battles. There were charges of immigration fraud against Osho himself. And then the really shocking event, 1984.
The bioterror attack.
Yeah. Carried out by some of his followers, poisoning salad bars to influence a local election. It's still the largest bioterror attack in U.S. history. Just staggering.
Unbelievable. From spiritual liberation to that.
It raised huge questions, about control within the community, the influence he had. It all ended with his arrest, a plea deal, and deportation in '85. He went back to India after that.
So quite a trajectory. How do we even begin to sum up his legacy today?
Oh.
He seems like such a paradox.
He really does, and he remains incredibly polarizing. You'll find people who deeply revere him, see him as a source of profound wisdom, and others who understandably condemn him for the methods, the scandals.
Yeah, the harm caused.
Absolutely. But despite all that, his influence is still there. His books, mostly transcripts of his talks, like the Book of Secrets, Courage, The Mustard Seed, they're still widely read.
And the meditation center in Pune.
Still operating. The Osho International Meditation Resort still draws thousands of people every year, even decades after his death.
It really is something to consider, given everything his emphasis on individual truth, freedom, living fully, but then also the immense controversy and the serious harms. What does his whole story, start to finish, make you think about? Especially regarding this quest for transformation, both personal and collective.
That's the core question, isn't it? It forces you to grapple with the complexities.